Hi again everyone, and welcome to another Mad About Madeira video. I've been watching a few videos of late um, about Portugal. I had taken a little bit of a break, pretty overwhelming, looking at a bunch of videos about Portugal and realizing that we're still in the planning stages, and I want to say planning, just putting things together before we can even start doing what we need to do. Basically, just setting some things to get things going for us to move over there. So in the meantime, I decided to just go ahead and start watching some videos again about the country. And as I pretty much expected was going to happen sooner or later, I started now see the videos about people speaking about their disappointment with the country. To be honest with you, let me just change that. I haven't come across any videos with anyone making a video about that per se, as opposed to there are people who have heard about other people leaving the country and they're making videos about it. And I guess they're still living in the country, but I guess when they speak to other people and find out perhaps some expats that they may have known who lived in the country, they've probably gotten word that they have left the country or have spoken to people and said they were leaving the country or they're planning to leave the country. And I guess they're going to YouTube and doing these videos to explain what these people may have told them, their reasoning for leaving the country. So I pretty much expected these videos to come about after a while. So, 2 years ago, up to a year ago, a lot of the videos that I was seeing we're talking about the glories of Portugal, all the wonderful things about it, moving there, the cost of living being cheaper, a better standard of living, better quality of life, I should say, and all the nice platitudes in regard to the country. But in the back of my mind, I said, you know what? People are going to go over there, rush over there, really get hyped up because of all the glossy videos that people saw about the country, and they will rush over there, sometimes without proper planning. Maybe they have the money and they could just make that quick jump, and they're going to go over there and then realize after a while, this is not for me. Because I think we all know by now, going to visit a place, you're only visiting it in a moment in time. And that moment in time may just be fantastic. It may be for a few days, it may be for a week, it may be for a couple of weeks, a week and a half. You go there for that time, that period of time, everything is great. But when you go there to live over a period of time and have to deal with the daily grind, you're not in a nice hotel somewhere, you're not going on tours, you're not just relaxing. Now you're working, now you're living, now you're in the daily grind, you're paying bills. Things change. And I think a lot of people have run into this wall, and now the honeymoon for them is actually over. Now, I don't have statistics as to know how many people are leaving in terms of percentage from those who have made it over there. I don't know if you're starting with the number 5, if it's 1 out of 5, if it's 2 out of 5, if it's 3 out of 5. I have no idea what the statistics are. But I guess there are enough people who have turned around and decided to come back for there to be videos out there about such people at this point. I pretty much expected it. And it's not discouraging us from still trying to make that move there. But I pretty much expected this to come about because people are just wrapped differently. People are different. There are people who go over there or to any country in the world and grind it out. They're not discouraged by the lack of perhaps creature comforts. That doesn't bother them. They may have patience to deal with the bureaucracy and the lines and the red tape and the nepotism and so forth. Some people may be able to deal with that kind of stuff, or be able to kind of just realize it's just part and parcel of where they're going to, because maybe they did their research and realized these are the type of things that happen in places like Portugal. So now, when it comes to us, we haven't even got there yet. And I'm saying it's not discouraging me, at least, you know. Sometimes I worry about my wife in a sense, even though she does not look into this as deeply as I do. But I tend to be a very, very patient person. It's one of the attributes that I have that I would say, you know what, I'm glad that I have that. I've lived in places like New York, and now I live in South Florida twice now, and I lived in New York 3 times, and I've had to deal with the rush, the push, the everything, the aggression, and everything done right now. And though I've lived in these places, I've never really given in to to becoming like that. You know, if I'm in traffic, yes, I want to get home, but I'm not honking my horn and getting angry at people. It's not been me. Even when I lived in New York, same exact thing. I don't really get into that. I've been with my wife sometimes, who wants to reach over and press the car horn like, "What's this guy doing?" You know, that's not me. You know, so I've never been that way. So I think that's one of the good things going to a place like Portugal, because you're going to have patience, at least from what I've noticed with everyone else in terms of what they're talking about. You're going to have to deal with bureaucracy, red tape, and wait times, and so forth. So I think that's a good thing for me to have going to a place like this. But remember, we're not talking about necessarily going to mainland Portugal. We're talking about going to the island of Madeira. Madeira now has its own challenges. It's an island, you know, so an island literally means you're not connected to anything else. So everything has to happen within that place. You can't drive across the border, so to speak. You know, you're there on an island, and you've got to deal with island life and what happens on an island. So the way I look at it is, number one, I was born on an island, much smaller, much smaller than Madeira. So basically, you just drove 2 minutes and you're at the other end of the island. You know, I'm exaggerating, but you know, it much smaller. Okay, um, that's one. So I understand already what it's like to be on an island, and sometimes you can get what we used to call back in the days rock fever. Now, I got that when I was 17 years old, graduated from high school. I had rock fever. It's like, the island is so small, I got to get out of here and see the bigger world. I got to see the bigger world, you know? That was me at 17. This stage of my life, I'm not interested. I love to travel, but I'm not interested in being all over the place right now. I don't mind traveling, but I'm at the age now where I'm content, where the weekends come around, I could sit out on my porch and just enjoy some iced tea and just relax and just take in the breeze. This is not me at 17, want to be all up and down the place with all my friends all over the island. It's not really me. So I don't have to really feel a certain way by going to an island. The other thing about Madeira, I could be completely wrong about this. Mainland Portugal is older. And what I mean by older, an older civilization, Madeira, if you know how mountainous the terrain is there, the island wasn't really fully developed until just 50 years ago, basically. You know, and it really took a great leap forward when all the tunnels were built to make transportation much easier. And that's something that happened within the past 20 years. So Madeira, if you want to look at it this way, it's kind of newer, you know, whereby mainland Portugal is older buildings. The same roads that were there 500 years ago are still there to this very day. So I look at Madeira as being perhaps a little fresher, if I can use that word. So for the people who are going to mainland Portugal, they may be dealing with older infrastructure. They may be dealing with just other things that are on the mainland. And a lot of these people are going to mainland Portugal. People that I see, when they say Portugal, they're not necessarily talking about Madeira, even though there are people who are going to Madeira. But I want to say, for every 5 people that go to Portugal, 4 of them are going to mainland Portugal. So yes, they're adding to the numbers. They're adding to the expense that's going on over there. Madeira, on the other hand, is offshore. Some people probably don't even know it exists, and probably until they get to mainland Portugal and realize, oh, there's an island out there, there are a few islands out there that's also under the Portuguese flag. So going to Madeira, it may not be as crowded. I could be wrong. I know it's a place where a lot of visitors from Europe have gone to, but in terms of Americans, I don't think that, because when it comes to Portugal itself, I think in the last year there have been about 10,000 Americans who have made it over there, and I want to say probably about a good 9,000 of them are actually in mainland Portugal, adding to the congestion, adding to the crowd, adding to all the confusion and the lack of housing, and contributing to all of that. Madeira, I would say it's a little bit different. At least from when I was there, yes, people may want to stay in a place like Funchal, the capital city, because that's where you're going to have the conveniences that you probably would want. But because it's an island, you can go 25 minutes in either direction and be outside the city, but close enough, but be outside the city where you can probably find more places to live, more space, not people all over you like maybe in Funchal, and a little bit more spread out. But you're only 25 minutes away. Whereby in mainland Portugal, you may say, hey, you know what, I don't want to stay in Lisbon, so I'm going to go up the coast a bit. So when you go up the coast now, you may be 2 hours away and out in the middle of nowhere, basically. And it's like, wow, I've got to drive all the way to Lisbon just to get this, just to do that, just to do this. Whereby in Madeira, yes, there are places you can go that you may be 2 hours away from Funchal, yes. But just places 25 minutes out, you can still get that openness, a little bit more openness. It's a little bit more open, and probably can have a pretty decent home, probably a nice apartment that's not going to cost you the same amount of money that you'll be paying in Lisbon, or maybe even paying in Funchal on Madeira. So that's one way I look at things in that regard. So number one, having the patience, which you're going to have when you go to a place like Portugal, from what I can tell. I'm glad to know that at least I have some of that. At least that's one of my attributes that I think is a positive attribute that I have. Have patience. I'm not going to go over there and like, oh my God, this thing is taking so long. As long as I have something to occupy my time, my internet or whatever, I can pass the time away. And I've already made up in my mind, this is just how the way things are. Another thing that needs to be said here is that by coming from a Caribbean island like St. Thomas, and my wife coming from a place like Guyana, we already have an experience of what it's like to wait. The bureaucracy, the red tape, the nepotism. These are hallmarks of Caribbean societies. So we're already familiar with those type of things. Though I've spent most of my life in the United States, my wife has only been here for 6 years. Just 6 years ago, I was listening to my wife on the phone in Guyana, complaining. That's where she's from. Listen to her complaining. Oh my goodness, the power went off. Oh my goodness, I gotta wait for this. Oh, I gotta wait for that. I heard her complaining about these type of things. So she is familiar with what that is all about. The problem is, in a place like Guyana and St. Thomas, you also don't have the infrastructure on top of all the red tape, the bureaucracy, and all the nepotism that goes on. Meaning, at least in Portugal, you have reliable electricity. In the Virgin Islands, in Guyana, it's a given. Just once a week your power is going to go off. So if you have a remote job and you're there working, there goes the power. The other thing may be you don't have reliable internet or not fast internet. You don't have to worry about that in Portugal, right? So at least there's a trade-off. Okay, you got to deal with bureaucracy, you got to deal with the red tape, the nepotism, and everything like that. But at least you have reliable internet. At least your power is not going off every other day for hours on end, which is what we deal with in the Virgin Islands and also down in places like Guyana and other Caribbean islands. Yeah, I'm sweating. It's humid out there. I try to turn off the car. This is South Florida, right? I try to turn off the engine so that you guys wouldn't hear the hum of the engine in the audio. But I may just have to put it back on, so just be prepared, okay? So that's another thing that we have to deal with. But one of the biggest things that I think is in our favor when it comes to moving there, which is why I'm also not discouraged, is the fact that unlike a lot of other people who are probably filing to go to Portugal or who have moved to Portugal, we have friends there. We have family there. And I should say family first. And what I mean by that is the fact that if you looked at my other videos, you'll realize that when we went to Madeira the first time, 5 months prior, my wife found family over there. Okay? So these were people who did not know her prior to that, and these are people she did not know prior to that time. So we did not know anyone there when we were going. We had no clue, no one to talk to, no one to tell us what to do, what not to do, what to look out for. We had no one to look out for us. But when we got there, we finally met my wife's family. And ever since that time, we have pretty much bonded with them, kept in touch with them. They have kept in touch with us. It's really it really has been a beautiful thing. So we won't be going there completely blind. You know, a lot of other people are going there. They don't really know anyone there. There may be some friends. There are some communities, especially in the black community. You have an expat community over there, diaspora community, who are willing to help people out to get them settled in and so forth, you know. So there is that. But for us, we actually have family that we can, I want to go out on a limb and say we can depend on them. They treated us just so wonderful when we went there for a visit. But at least we can have them tell us what to look out for, where to go, what not to do, what to do. They may know people who can get things done for us quicker than someone coming in and no one knows who you are. They may be able to give us advice. Go here instead of there. Or go to see my friend down here. Go to see another family member over here to help you out with this or help you out with that. You know? I mean, of course, I know it's not the way it should be, but that's just how the world actually works. You know people, and they may know someone else, and they may give you a little bit more of a notice than if you're just a number somewhere. You know, it's like, oh, that's my cousin over there and so forth. Can you give him a hand with this? Or can you look out for him with this? And can you look out for that and whatever? You know, by having family there, they can say, hey, don't live here instead. Or try to get an apartment or home over there instead of here, because they live there. They know what the place is like. They know the ins and outs. They know what works, what doesn't work. They know how to go about doing different things and so forth. So with that in mind, I think that gives us a little bit of an advantage over other people who are going there, who are just completely going there as a blank slate and not knowing anything about the place at all. Of course, there are other people who are going over there without scouting. They're just leaving, and that first trip that they're making is that trip to go to live over there. They didn't go for a visit, got a little bit of an idea. And of course, you're not going to get an idea of the place by just going on a 4-day trip, a week's trip or whatever. And not everyone has the money to go over there for a couple of months, 4 or 5 months, and feel the place out to know if this is a place they want to live. So you have those dynamics that go on that can also cause people to just go over, visit, see what the place is like, enjoying it for the first few weeks, the first few days, and all of a sudden reality kicks in and it's like, hey, I don't think this is for me whatsoever. So again, just going back over everything, it's like having the patience. That's something that I have. Dealing with the bureaucracy, the nepotism, the red tape, and all the other things that go on. Well, I come from an island. We had to deal with all those type of things in a much smaller island than Madeira. In the Virgin Islands where I'm from, that's always been a big complaint. So it's not like it's going to be something completely foreign to me, like, oh my goodness, what are they doing? Why did I have... No, we deal with that. I just came back from the Virgin Islands, a month and a half ago. I went home for something. And while I was there, I had to deal with all that type of stuff. So, and I go home pretty often. And when I do go, it's like, here we go. No, I got to deal with this. I know I got to deal with that. It's already in my mind. I know I have to deal with it, so I'm not going down there shocked, frustrated, angry. No, I already made up my mind. All right, put your mind into patience gear, because you're going to have to deal with this when you go down there. So these are some of the things that I hope and I feel will buffer us from the issues that some other people may be having. And again, these videos that I've been seeing, it's not so much about Madeira, it's more about mainland Portugal. I'm sure if I looked hard enough, there are going to be some videos in there with people saying, this is why I left Madeira. Madeira is not for me, or 10 reasons why I left Madeira, or why I returned back to the United States. I'm sure there are videos out there like that in regard to Madeira, but at least the most that I've seen so far, and the only ones that I've seen so far, are dealing with mainland Portugal. So I just want to just do this video out there. Now, this is not a video where I could tell people anything with any kind of authority because I don't live there. You know, I've never lived over there in Madeira to tell people, well, 10 reasons why and 5 reasons why, and I can't make those type of videos. But in terms of us personally looking forward to going there, these are the type of things that I've already put in my mind, thought about, so that when I go there, I'm not acting like I'm surprised and like, oh, I didn't expect this to happen, you know, so I am aware of that. But the key thing here is having family members there. Family members who treated us very well when we went there for our visit. Family members who still keep in touch with us. As a matter of fact, my birthday was earlier this month, and I was so surprised when I opened up my phone and I got a singing telegram from the family over there. You know, they're singing happy birthday to me, wishing me happy birthday, and they were the only people to do that. All my friends and family here was just a, Facebook, hey, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. They literally sent me a video with them singing happy birthday to me. That meant so much, but it gives you an idea of the type of people they are, and it gives you an idea of the type of people we plan to be around when we go ahead and we visit Madeira, when we go to live in Madeira. And this is something that I just cannot wait to do. So in the face of those other videos, and I am not living over there to be a person that says, hey, draw breaks in those videos where people are talking about leaving. Let me tell you what they should have done, or let me tell you what they should do. I cannot speak with that kind of authority, like I said, but I can speak from myself looking toward going over there. Now, I heard someone say something the other day which made a lot of sense, and she said that a lot of people want to leave the United States to leave the bad things behind. And then they go to Portugal, they don't find those bad things, but the good things that they left behind in the United States, they don't find there. And good things meaning, I guess, for some people, they want to have a Walmart in every corner. Over here, let me go ahead and place an Amazon order. It's on my door like a couple of hours later, or let me be able to go and renew my tags on my car. Let me go online, put the information. I don't have to go to DMV. It's shown up in the mail. I can go do some banking online. Everything is done, taken care of. And those are the good things that they probably miss here. Then they go over to Portugal and they realize, like, wow, the place is safe. This is great. Wow, the quality of your life is great. It's fantastic. Let me go do some banking. What? I have to wait how long? Oh my goodness. What? I had to go to do this and it took this long. Oh wow, I call in for internet and it's taking them 2 weeks to come out here to do this. And those are the things that some people just will not be able to deal with and cannot deal with. And it would be very discouraging to them. And I could see them just saying, you know what, despite the United States and all of its problems, let me go back over there. At least I can have everything more or less at my fingertips. And for some people, that's what they want. And, you go to Portugal, from what I understand, climate change is going on. The summers are getting hotter. You may not, these are places not coming with central heating, kind of like New York City, because the city is older, so things have changed. Summers are going to probably be very much hotter. The winter time is going to probably be cooler. And so now when these type of things are happening, people are complaining about being very cold in their homes and their apartments in the wintertime and being very hot in the summertime. So these are other things that have to be factored in and looked into and thought about, and people are going to be like, oh my goodness, I need to get out of here. I got to get back to my central AC, my central air, I should say, where I can flip a switch, turn on the heat in the winter, flip a switch, turn on the AC in the summertime. You're going to go to Portugal and you may not find those, at least in your older homes. And so some people, even that can be a deal breaker for them. So just want to do this video, get it out there, put it out there, just to let you guys know we're still working and getting over there. I'm going to do another video soon because the original video I put up on here from some time back, The original video I put up from some time back about my ties to Portugal, my wife and my ties to Portugal, a lot of details have changed or have been updated. I've found out more information, and I think it's going to be an exciting video when I start talking about my ties to the island of Madeira. My wife, I know about her ties, but I have not been to Guyana to delve into that even more, but I can speak about myself. Okay? So, oh, and I did forget to mention the fact that we have family there. But when we say family, we're saying family because my wife and I, if you have not noticed by now, we have an affinity. We have a connection to the island of Madeira. So that's another thing there. So we're not going to Madeira. It's a vacation spot, and it's like, oh, I just saw it in a magazine, or I saw a video about it. I'm going to travel there because it's this exotic location. My wife and I, when we went there, and I guess I should throw this in right now. My wife and I, when we went there, we were not even aware of the fact that Portugal was trending. We were not aware. We were going there for an entirely different reason. It was like we found out that we have connections to this island all throughout our family. And even though it did not trickle down to us the knowledge of this. We had to go out there and find this information. And we decided, hey, you know what? Let's go visit this island. Let's do something different. Instead of going to Cancun or Jamaica or the Dominican Republic or Vegas, why don't we go to this island? Let's do something off. We're not going to go to Paris. We're not going to go to London. We're not going to go to Barcelona. Let's go to this island known as Madeira that features within our family line. So we go over there, and we don't know that there's all this hype going on around about Madeira. So we go over. So we weren't going over there on by watching videos and like, oh wow, that's a hot spot. Let's go over there. We were just going over there just to see what the place was all about, and just say we were in Europe and just put it off in our bucket list checklist and say, hey, we went to Europe. We happened to go to this island. That's all we were doing. Well, we go over there. We meet her family. We come back and then realize that we were, even though people may not have known this and saw us, but we were part of this big push for people going to to Portugal. We just happened to be in the crowd, but we didn't know what was going on. So we come back over, and then we realize all the hype that's going on with Portugal, and realize that the things that we observed, the things that we noticed, they aligned with the opinions of a lot of other people. Safety, quality of life, the great food, just feeling relaxed and comfortable in a place like that. These are things that we notice on our own, independent of what we later saw on YouTube. So that's another thing there. So when we're going there also because we're tied to the place. We're tied to the place. That's where our great-great-grandparents came from, at least on one part of our families. So that's another added feature, another added reason as to why we not only want to go, but we feel we can stick and become a part of the community for a long time. Okay? Anyway, it's burning up in here. I put on the AC, get a little bit of air back in here before I suffocate in this place. So thank you guys for listening in and for spending a half an hour with me just listening to me talk. And I hope somewhere in between there you found something of interest that you can put down in the comment section. But you can like it, and you can subscribe, and you can share the video if you would like to. Okay? Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm going to get to that other video to update all that information from my first video talking about our family coming from Madeira. You guys take care. Until the next video, from Mad About Madeira. Thank you.